राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभु। दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार। पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन सुन लो मेरी पुकार। पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विधाता। सिया राम के काज सवारे, सिया राम के काज सवारे। मेरा पर उधार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपी सती लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित परनामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। अपरम पाढ़े शक्ति तुम्हारी, तुम पर नीधे अवध बिहारी। तुम पर नीधे अवध बिहारी। भक्ति भाव से जाओ तो हे, भक्ति भाव से जाओ तो हे। कर दुखों से पार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन सुन लो मेरे पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार। पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार।
Sound check 1 2. बुरे श्रमापति महादेव की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। Dear Bhaktojan, beloved devotees and bhaktas, Shubh Swagatam and welcome to this evening's Sandhya. As we have already performed our Bedi Puja, worship and oblations to the lotus-like feet of Bhagwan Sri Ganesh, let me offer pranams to the lotus-like feet of Pandit Bhajan for, of course, conducting puja and worship this evening. Special Sitaram to Pandit Dharan joining with us, and all you wonderful bhaktas and devotees joining with us this evening here at the Mandir and on our live streams as well. We are about to join in another beautiful katha and a wonderful pravachan taken from the golden pages of the Ganesh Purana. But before commencing our katha, I invite you, Krauchai, please stand as you join in our opening arti. Om Sajam Chavarati Samyuktam Vahinayochitamaya Deepagrihan Devasya Trahalokyatimiraapaham Yani Tani Chapapani Janme Hritatani Cha Tani Tani Vrashante Parakshana Prade Prade Ganapati ki seva mangala meva seva se sab vighan tare तीन लोक के सकल देवता द्वार परे निज अरज हरे हे सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता देवता है सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता रिद्धि सिद्धि के ढक्षण माला औद अनन से चतुर रे धूप दीप और लिए आरती भक्ति करे जयकार करे हे सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता देवता है सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता गौरी के मोदक भोग लगे है पोषक वाहन चर अपरे समारोह लिए श्री गणपति को विघ्न बरे जय दूर परे हे सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता देवता है सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता बदो मासोद शुक्ल चतुर्थी दीन दोपहर बदुर परे लियो जन्म गणपति प्रभु जी के पार्वती मन आनंद पड़े हे सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता देवता है सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता एक दंत गज वरन विनायक त्रिअनंत रूप रे परा कुमार ढेक पुष्ट से देख चंद्रमा हस्त करे हे सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता देवता है सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता हे सुख करता गजानन है दुख हरता देवता है सुख करता गजानन है दुखहरता. This evening, my dear friends, devotees and bhaktas, once we worship Lord Shiva, once we worship Lord Ganesha this evening, once we worship Parvati Mata, as we perform Aarti to the lotus-like feet of Ganapati Baba. He is called Shivananda. He is the son of Lord Shiva. I invite you all, let us all blend our voices together as we glorify Bhagwan Shankara. Om Namah Shivaya, Shambhavaya Cha, Mayubhavaya Cha, Maskaraya Cha, Shivatraya Cha. Om Namah Shivaya. बम बोले हरे मोर मन कामना पूरा करे. बम बोले हरे मोर मन कामना पूरा करे. मोर मन कामना पूरा करे. मोर मन कामना पूरा करे. बम बोले हरे मोर मन कामना पूरा करे. बाबा की धाम पर गंगा की धार पर गंगा की धार. बाबा की धाम पर गंगा की धार पर गंगा की धार. सबके रतवा बाबा दुआ, सबके रतवा बाबा दुआ. बम बोले हरे मोर मन कामना पूरा करे. बम बोले हरे मोर मन कामना पूरा करे. ओम नमः शिवाय. हरि ओम नमः शिवाय. 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 हरि ओम नमः शिवाय. हरि ओम नमः. एक बार बोले श्री गजानन स्वामी की. गणपति बाबा मंगल मूर्ति. सत्य सनातन धर्म की. You may have respectful seats this evening. This evening, my dear friends, devotees and bhaktas, as we are about to join a beautiful katha, to understand a little bit more about Lord Ganesha, the rishis and munis gather to Kailash Parvat. And once they gather on Kailash Parvat to learn about Lord Ganesha, they are asking of Nandishwara to narrate to them the greatness of the offering of the durva, or commonly called the dub grass, to Lord Ganesha. We all know that in Ganesh Puja, one of the most important ingredient that is offered to him is the dub grass. During the Ganesh Ustav celebration, we will realize that malas of the dub grass is offered. Dub grass is placed upon the body of Lord Ganesha. But why? Have you ever wondered why? Nandishwara, before he begins to narrate, he begins to offer salutations to the feet of Bhagwan. And so this evening, I invite each and every one of you to please sit upright. As we join our palms together, as we close the physical eyes, we surrender to the feet of Bhagwan. Om Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om. Bhagavan 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 हमें दया करो। श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमो नमः। ओम श्री गुरु चरण कमलेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Salutation, Supratam Deva Puja. The first deity to be worshipped, Mangalamurti Moria, the Lord of auspiciousness, Mahaganapati, Lord Sri Ganesh. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurme Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvara. Om Gajananam Bhutaganari Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palasara Vakshatam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Viganeshwara Parapankajam. Wherever there is Bhagwan, there is always light. And so, Bhagwan, may you guide us out of the darkness of this world of Mahamaya. Om Nagendrahara Yatrilochanaya Basmangaraya Yamaheshwaraya Nithaya Shodhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Om Namaha Shivaya. Salutations to Hanumanji. Today's Tuesday. It is specially dedicated for the worship of Lord Hanuman, embodiment of strength. Om Lal Deh Lali Lase Arudhari Langur Bhadra Deh Lana Varalang Jai 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 Kapisur Shri Guru Charana Sarojaraja Nijamana Mukura Sudhar Varano Raghubar Vimalayasha Jodhayaka. Together. Bonahina Tanujanike Sumire Pavana Kumar Balpuri Vidya Hara Ganesha Vikas. एक बार बोले पवन पुत्र हनुमान की, महावीर स्वामी की जय जय जय। हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। गुरुदेव की नाई गुरुदेव की नाई। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। बोले पवन पुत्र हनुमान की, महावीर स्वामी की। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीशति लोक उजागर। रामदूत तुलित बलरामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नाम। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगे। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। कंचन वरण विराज सुवेशा कानर कुंडर कुंचित केशा। हाथ भद्र और ध्वजो विराजे कांधे मूंज जने को साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आत प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप रसिया दिखावा विकट रूप रंग जरावा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाय भीम रूप ररिय सुन संगावे रामचंद्र के काज सवाए लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर शिवर लाय रघुपति कीनी बहुत बराई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरु पवन पुत्र हनुमान की ओम नमो हनुमते नमः। सहस वरन तुम यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे संकारिक ब्रह्मांड मुनीषा नारद शारद सहित अनीशा यम कुबेर गोपाल सहाते कवि को बिर कई सके कहाते जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाय तुम प्रकार सुग्रीवनि की नाराम मिलाय राज पर दीना तुम्हारे मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लियो ताहि मनुर पर जानु जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुजी महावीर स्वामी की प्रभु मुद्रिका मिली मुका माही जररी रांगी गए अचन चनाई दुर्गम काज जगत के चेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे देते राम रुवाले तुम रखवाले होत न क्या बिनु पैसाए जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाय सब सुकल है तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आप दिनहु लोक कते काप भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाय जय 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 महावीरा जय जय हनुमान जय 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 महावीरा जय जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय जय हनुमान जय जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय जय हनुमान जय जय हनुमान बोलो जय जय महावीरा जय जय हनुमान जय 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 महावीरा। हनुमान चालीसा says भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे The one who chants the name of Hanuman ji with love and devotion, all evil or negative energy is removed. Na sahe rog hare sab pira japat nirantar Hanumat veera. The one who chants the name of Hanuman ji with love and devotion, all sickness and diseases are removed. So great, my dear friends, is the name of Lord Hanuman. But when chanted from your heart with love and with devotion, together, ek baar. जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाय नास है रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतन हनुमत वीरा संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ज्ञान जोलावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राज जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाय और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन जीवन पद पावे, चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुआरे। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाम। पवन पुत्र हनुमान की। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायर तुम्हारे पासा, सरर हो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। अंत काल रघुपति पुरचारी, सह जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित नार रहे, परमत से सार्व सुख करे। संकट हरे अमिते सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। This evening, my dear friends, once we glorify Hanuman Ji, and once we receive the blessings of Hanuman, Hanuman Ji is the embodiment of strength, physically, mentally, and spiritually. In today's world, we face some of the trials and tribulations, some of the hurdles that life may bring before us, and some of the situations. We need that physical strength, that spiritual strength, and that mental strength. This evening, we surrender to the feet of Lord Hanuman together. या सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूत ही बंती महास कहो। जो यहाँ पर हनुमान चालीसा, हो श्री सहा की गौरीसा। तुलसी दास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महादेरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। He is the Pawaman, he is known to everyone, Shri Ram का प्यार। जय हनुमान। He is the Pawaman, he is known to everyone, Shri Ram का प्यारे। जय हनुमान। He fly over the mountain, he fly over the sea, he fly over the mountain, he fly over the sea. He is known to everyone as Bajrangbali. He is the Pawaman, he is known to everyone, Shri Ram का प्यारे। जय हनुमान। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम। It is said, wherever the name of Sri Ram is chanted, the presence of Hanuman Ji is certain to be there. Tonight, let us chant together. Jai Ram Shri Ram. Or you think Hanuman Ji will come? Jai Ram Shri Ram. Jai Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। पवन तनय संकट हरणम, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहिता, हृदय बसौ सुरभूप। हृदय बसौ सुरभूप। हृदय। एक बार बोले पवन पुत्र हनुमान की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की। My dear friends, devotees and bhaktas, a beautiful katha is taken from the golden pages of the Ganesh Purana. Bhagwan Sri Ganapati, he sits on Kailash Parvat together with Mata Parvati and Bhagwan Shiv Shankar. Nandishwara is explaining and he is giving the narration of the greatness of the durva grass. And Nandishwara, he says, that once there lived a yaksha by the name of Durva. Durva was very beautiful. What is a yaksha? A yaksha is a celestial being. Just like remember last night's katha had the celestial Gandharvas, the celestial musicians, the yakshas, they are celestial beings as well. This yaksha, her name was Durva. Durva was roaming the universe, and while she was roaming the universe, she saw Kailash Parvat. She decided to visit Kailash, and while she enters into Kailash, she meets firstly with Nandishwara. Nandi is sitting there very calmly. Nandi sees the yaksha, and as he sees this yaksha, the yaksha is so beautiful. The yaksha, she is hiding herself and she is looking at what is taking place in Kailash. She's a little bit scared. Why is she scared? Because the dutas of Lord Shiva, they are all around in Kailash. Who are the dutas of Lord Shiva? Bhoot and Pisach. Some have head and some do have. Some have body and some do have none. She steps back and she is hiding. But while she hides, she's looking at what is taking place. She's saying to herself, what a strange place is this? And while she hides, she sees this little Ganesh. He is very handsome. And he comes out into the very Parvat and he begins to play. He's playing with Moshak. Remember Moshak from last night's katha, Crouch? He's playing with Moshak. And while he's playing with Moshak, what takes place? The katha tells to us this evening. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Oh Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jana Ganapati Deva Anari. Jana Ganapati Deva Anari. Bodhi Hari Hari Yaho. Bodhi Hari Hari Ya. Jai Ganesha. Ganesha, he plays with Moshak. But while he's playing with Moshak, Moshak is very happy. But Lord Ganesh, he also sees that it's a cat coming around Kailash Parvat. And as Lord Ganesha sees the cat, for some, they find the cat very adorable. And for some, Jai Bhagwan. And while he sees the cat, Lord Ganesha wants to play with it. But Moshak finally spots the cat. And Moshak goes behind Lord Ganesh and he begins to hide. He says, Lord, please help me. I'm in trouble. Why is he in trouble? Anybody ever see Tom and Jerry? What has happened? So he's afraid. And why is he afraid? He says, Bhagwan, please help me. But Lord Ganesh cannot help himself. He finds the cat adorable and he begins to play with his cat. And while he's playing with the cat, Moshak, he is afraid. He goes one side and he's sitting. He's even feeling a little bit sad. Why? My Lord now has someone new to play with. Why is he playing with his cat? But Lord Ganesha is Lambodara. He is huge. He is very strong. And the cat is chota chota. He takes the cat and he throws the cat in the air. And he's catching the cat. Sometimes he misses and the cat falls on the ground and Jai Bhagwan is going. And as the cat is trying to escape, Lord Ganesha pulled him back. And he's playing with him. The cat wants to go because he's been hurt. But Lord Ganesha is playing with his cat. What takes place? Nandishwara Bodhi. सावन धान हवे मूषक सावन धान हवे सुनो नारशनाम हो सुनो नारशनाम जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देव ओ जय गणेश जय गणेश बुरे आनंद स्वामी की Lord Ganesh, he plays with the cat. But finally the cat, he escapes and he runs for his life. Moshak is happy now. Why? The cat is no longer on his Ganesha's path. Lord Ganapati, Lord Ganesh, he enters back into the Kailash. And there he sees Mata Parvati with dirt on her skin and bruises. He falls to a little side feet. Are Mati? Kya hua? And Parvati Mata looks at Lord Ganesh. And Ganapati Baba says, Ma, who has done this to you? And she says, it is you. Lord Ganesh is confused. She puts him to sit. And she says, the very cat that you are playing with is a female. I am Jagat Janani Mata and I reside within every female in the universe. So for the ladies who are sitting amongst us, you are a spark of divinity of Durga Mata. You are a spark of divinity of Parvati Mata, Jagat Janani Mata. Hence the reason we must dress appropriately. You are representation of the Devi. Whenever we see our ladies, we respect them as a sister, a daughter, a mother, or a grandmother, or maybe beyond. And for the ladies, be reminded this evening that you are representing the Devi upon the earth. And this is why you must dress beautifully like the Devi. Just like the Devi. Because you are representing her upon the earth. And so, Bhagwan Ganapati, understanding that the Devi is within every female, he says, Ma, I will never get married. If you reside within every woman, I am not going to get married. Remember last night, Katha, he was anxious, but today he changed his mind. And while he sits there, Parvati Mata, she plays with Moshak. And Moshak wants to go outside. Moshak is calling Ganesh. But Ganesha, he has a plan. He says that I am going to live a brahmachari life. Everybody knows a brahmachari? Not the type of brahmachari we have today. Today we have brahmachari and we have brahmachari. In today's world we have brahmachari who have girlfriends and boyfriends. A brahmachari is one who lives a life now dedicated to God. A brahmachari is the very beginning stage, that when you dedicate your life like that, when you reach at sannyas age, you will now enter into that sannyas of becoming a swami. Today we have swamis who have wives. I'm not condemning anybody, but I'm just speaking according to our script here. This is the life we're supposed to live if you want to live that life. The old people always say, if you can't do something good, don't do it at all. Lord Ganesha says, I'm going to live a brahmachari life. He begins to prepare himself and he's about to go to the very bank of the river to perform his tapasya and his devotion. And as he walks out of the Parvat, the yaksha durva is looking at him. He is dressed in yellow clothing, silk clothing. And while he dressed in this beautiful clothing, the sun is setting. and it's reflecting on him. And his aura begins to look so beautiful. Remember the aura? In our last yajna, we have understood about the aura. Our aura attracts people towards you. Sometimes you see somebody, and because their aura is good, immediately you feel as though you have known that person for quite some years. Isn't that so? And in local language, what do we say? We say, my blood take that person. And then sometimes again, we see somebody for the very first time, and what we just say? Or you don't answer. That's according to your aura. His aura is shining beautifully. And the yaksha durva, she cannot help herself. She goes close to Lord Ganesha. And as she goes close to Lord Ganesha, she's telling him how handsome he's looking. And as she tells to Lord Ganesha, you are glowing, you are looking so handsome. Lord Ganesha, he takes this as an insult, because he's going to become brahmachari. But a yaksha is looking at him with love in her eyes. Prem kahani. And he tells to her that I am going to become brahmachari. I am going to dedicate my life to only the service of my Bhagwan Shiva. Durva, she begins to laugh. She's laughing at Ganesh. She says, you are so young and yet you are going to dedicate your life to God. The question is, when should we dedicate our lives to God? When should we dedicate our lives to God? I remember when I took Jenny, I had 13 years. And many people would have asked me, are you sure this is what you want to do? I was 1000% sure. The question is, when should we start to serve God? Many people say, Baba, I'm young and I'm living my life. When I get older, I will begin to come to the mandir. When I get older, I will begin to dedicate my time to God. Baba, when I get my first pension, I will do a puja. How many people today are living to get your pension? How many people in today's world are living to get old? If you are old, thank God. When last have you been to the cremation site? It's reality. Then the question arises, when do we begin to serve God? Now. Tonight. Not tomorrow, tonight. For tomorrow may never come. We should begin to serve God now in this very moment. Do not wait for another minute to go. And so, he says, I'm sure I want to dedicate my life to God now. I want to serve my Lord. And once Lord Ganesha utters these words, the durva begins to laugh. And while she's laughing, what takes place? We listen to the medium of katha. Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Bolo Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Bolo Sri Ganesh Sharanam. Jaya Jaya Bolo Sri Ganesh Sharanam. Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Bolo Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama. The yaksha, she's harassing Lord Ganesh. When you see someone and you fall in love with them, even though the person don't love you, what you do? First to begin. Anybody here ever see somebody and immediately prem kahani? You fall head over heels? Ishanji? Have you ever seen someone and Jai Bhagwan? I see Murti Man here. I'm sure he could remember those days. I could see him smiling under the mask. Once he sees the yaksha, durva, as Ganesh tries to walk away, she tries to block him, and she continues to tell him how handsome he is. And Parvati Mata is looking at what is taking place, and she comes outside. And as she comes outside, she looks at the yaksha, and she says, "Oh Durva, you must respect the decision of others." How many of us in today's world, we respect the decision of others? How many of us in today's world, we respect others and respect their decisions? Something to think about, eh? Long time we would have done it. But in today's world, do we respect others and their belief? Do we respect others and their decisions? Parvati Mata, she was a little bit angry. And she looked at the yaksha and she says, "Oh Durva, you are carrying about yourself very wildly. And because of this, you will take the root or the form of a grass that will grow very wild." Have you ever seen how grass grows? It grows very wild. The Durva begins to pray, "Oh Ma, please forgive me. Listen, O Devi, to my prayer." And she begs Parvati Ma, "Mate, maaf karo, please forgive me." And Parvati Mata, she says, "The words that has already been uttered, you cannot take it back." Night after night, I remind you of this. When you say something, you could never take it back. When you release the arrow, could you hold it back? Never. Be careful what you say. Be careful what comes out of this mouth. Think firstly before you talk. And think how would it affect others. But Parvati Mata, she says, "Oh Durva, this very grass, you want to be close to Lord Ganesh, will be very near and dear to Ganapati Baba. This grass will come one day to save him. Whenever this grass is around Lord Ganesha, he will always be at peace. He will always be calm, and whatever hurdles may be in his path will be removed. And whomsoever may offer the Durva grass to Lord Ganesh, great are that devotee." And so, the yaksha takes the root of the Durva grass. The grass begins to grow. And Lord Ganesha, he pauses for a moment. He doesn't worry again about brahmachari. He goes now and he sits on Kailash. And he's together with Bhagwan Shankar. And while he sits there, he's wondering, what should I do? And while he's sitting there, he's still dressed in saffron clothes. Tulsi Devi is passing and Tulsi sees Ganesha. And Tulsi finds Lord Ganesh to be very handsome. That is like Shah Rukh Khan. Everybody finds he's very handsome. And Tulsi Devi, what does she say to Lord Ganesh? The katha tells us. देवगिरी सुनो गणपति तेहि भालक करे करे नितक भालक सुंदर देवन हे यहाँ श्री गणेश शरणम मम श्री गणेश शरणम मम श्री गणेश शरणम Mama, bolo Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, Baba Sri Ganesh Sharanam Mama, प्रभु श्री गणेश शरणम. एक बार बोले गजानन स्वामी की. Lord Ganesh, he sits there. The Tulsi Devi now sees Ganesh, and she's harassing Ganesh. And Ganesh says, I'm not going to get married. I'm here to stay with my Lord Shiva. Please go away, Tulsi. And Tulsi continues to harass Lord Ganesh. Ganesh looked at Tulsi and he says, oh Tulsi, today I give you a shrap. You want to become wedded? You will be wedded. You will be wedded to a demon. For those who are familiar with Bhagavad Katha, Tulsi Devi was wedded to Sankachora. You would take the root of a Tulsi tree eventually. Tulsi was on her way to worship Lord Vishnu. She was going to the bank of the Yamuna. And while she was going there to worship Bhagwan Hari, he says, you are a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. One day that very Tulsi plant will be very near and dear to Bhagwan Sri Vishnu. The leaves will be very important in all offerings of prasad, but not mine. The Tulsi leaf will be placed in all of the prasad offering, but not in Ganesh Baba's prasad. What will be placed in Ganesh Baba prasad, we will learn in Katha tonight. Once I heard someone, and I'm very happy to say this tonight as we are live. I know we have a lot of devotees viewing. Once a lady told me, she said, Baba, you don't put Tulsi in Lord Shiva prasad. An old lady, I said, why? She said, well, if the son do accept Tulsi, then the father do accept Tulsi too. I said, who tell you that? But I can't tell her who tells you. But the person's from right around the area. If the son do accept Tulsi, the father do accept Tulsi. I say, your son does eat dal and rice and bhaji? She said, no. I say, your husband is eaten? Yes, Baba, he loved dal and rice and bhaji. I say, well, Jai Shri Ram. Shiv Puran tells to us, Tulsi Manjari is offered upon the Shiv Lingam. Tulsi Manjari is offered in Shiva Puja. What is Tulsi Manjari? The very flowers of the Tulsi. This is what the Shiv Puran says. My dear friends, he says, but your leaves will never be offered in my puja and within my prasad offering. And Tulsi looked at Lord Ganesh. She says, you don't want to become married? Don't worry. You will be married. But you wouldn't have one wife, but you will have two wives. Anybody knows who are the wives of Lord Ganesh? Oh, you're well known. Riddhi and Siddhi. Who is the daughter of Lord Ganesh? Oh, you know that one? I thought you must know. Tomorrow night Katha will tell us about that. Tonight, Lord Ganesh has given this shrap that he will not have one wife, but he will have two. Tomorrow night we will learn about them. But tonight, Lord Ganesha, he takes this and he sits there on Kailash. But while he sits there on Kailash, the Devas and the Devta look, they are in problems. Because they live a asura by the name of Anil Asura. And Anil Asura is given a boon by Brahmaji that he can emanate fire from his mouth. Anil Asura receiving this boon, Anil Asura, he begins to emanate fire and create problems to the Rishis and Munis. When the Rishis and Munis will sit to perform their puja, he will roast their puja. Jai Bhagwan. When the Devtas begin to pray, he would emanate fire. He's creating problems. The Devtas, they are wondering, what could we do? Whenever we have a problem, who should we turn to? Anybody know? I mention this every night. When you have a problem, who knows? Bhagwan. When we have a problem, who should you take your problems to? Bhagwan. Whatever name you may call God, whatever form you may visualize God to be, take your problems to God. Sometimes we tell our best friend our problem, and by the time you reach by the gas station, everybody knows your problem. Isn't that so? In today's world, who can we trust? There's one person you could trust for sure. And who is that? Bhagwan, my dear friends. The Devatas, they begin to pray. And whilst they are praying, they begin to pray to the destroyer. Who is the destroyer? Anybody knows? Hara 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 Mahadev. 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 The Devatas begin to pray to Lord Shiva. He's the destroyer. And he asks to Mahadev, Baba, please destroy our problems. But as Lord Shiva appears there, he says, there's a deity for everything. What you have is an obstacle in your path. In today's world, when we pray as devotees, sometimes we have obstacles. Isn't that so? And sometimes our obstacles come in form of human beings. When you begin to pray, and when you begin to tread the path of devotion, what happens? If your whole life you're doing something adharmic, you're drinking, what people just tell you? They say, boy, stop drinking and change your life. Isn't that so? The day you decide to stop and change and begin to come to the mandir and pray, what the same people they say? They say, look, the drunkard playing sadhu. Isn't that so? That is reality. And that, my dear friends and devotees, is what happens in today's world. And this is where we should address it in the satsang. Why? Because it is our own Hindu people who says it. It is our own Hindu people. If that person walking in mandir, everybody walk and sit on the next side. Isn't that so? How many of us say, Bhaiya, it is good to see you. And I'm looking forward to see you next week. Come tomorrow night in Yagna. Don't forget. Come, let's go and do arti for Lord Ganesh. Encourage that person to change. But we have a mentality in this religion of Hinduism that when someone makes a mistake and that person decides to change, we look at that person differently. Isn't that so? And we judge that person. But who am I to judge? Who are you to judge? You are never too old to change and to learn. You are never too old to surrender to God. We all make mistakes. Who haven't made a mistake in life? We all make mistakes. And we all could change. And we all, my dear friends and devotees, could embrace the path of devotion. But we as devotees of God, when we see someone coming in the mandir who has changed, we must put an extra effort to encourage them to come to the mandir. To encourage them to tread the path of devotion, my dear friends. This is our duty. He says you have an obstacle. And when you have an obstacle, there's a devta you should pray to. Sanatana Dharma is so beautiful. We have so many devis and devtas. If you have a problem, who do you pray to? Obstacle? Lord Shri Ganesh. You want strength, you pray to Hanumanji. You want wealth, you pray to Lakshmi Mata, Kubir Devta. There are different devis and devtas for different purpose. And Lord Ganesha tells to the devtas, begin to pray to Lord Ganesh. Begin to worship Lord Ganesh and he will remove your obstacles. The devtas, my dear friends and devotees, they begin to worship Lord Ganesh. And once they begin to worship Lord Shri Ganesha, the devtas will clasp hands together. They are beginning to pray. They surrender to Lord Ganesha. And once they surrender to Lord Ganesha, my dear friends and devotees, the devtas will clasp hands. They begin to pray. Lord Shiva is giving them a sign. When we get signs, we must understand them. He is given a sign. And why is he given a sign? To worship Lord Shri Ganesh. Ganapati Baba is the remover of obstacles. The Devatas begin to worship. Today I'm sure that many of us may have obstacles in our lives. Obstacles when we begin to tread the path of devotion may come in the form of people, in the form of things. How many times when we sit to perform our puja we are disturbed? How many times when we decide to tread the path of devotion we are criticized and condemned? I remember when I started to tread this path and I began to do pujas, I was called a chamar because my title isn't Maharaj. But that didn't bother me. And today, you know something? The same people who called me so comes by me for help. And I open my doors and I say, Swagatam, come sit. But you remember those days? Never judge a book by its cover. Never discourage someone when they are trying to do something good. Always encourage them. People may come in your life as obstacles. When obstacles come in your life, what do? You try to get rid of them. You place them aside. Do not allow them to discourage you from treading the path of devotion. Tonight, there's an obstacle by the name of an asura. The Devatas begin to pray to Lord Ganesh. We all have obstacles in life. Tonight, let us all pray. As the Devatas pray to Lord Ganesh, we surrender to Ganapati Baba. They are calling Lord Ganesh, oh Bhagwan, please come and please listen to my prayer. Sukh karta dukh harta mera Ganapati Baba Moria. Sukh karta dukh harta mera Ganapati Baba. Aho Prabhu meri. Is that how, or you just call somebody? For the parents, when you're calling your children, how you just call them? Bihari. That's how you just call them. When you're calling the neighbor, how you just call the neighbor? Parosin. When you're calling God, how you just call God? Vajay Bhagwan. When we are calling someone, we call to the top of our voice. And when we are calling God, you shout to the top of your voice. Why? Many may say, Baba, you can call God from your heart silently, and I don't disagree with you, that is good. But when you call the name of God hard, and it echoes, all negative energy in your village, in this area is removed by the name of God. And when we pray congregationally, we sing loudly. And when you pray home in your house, you can pray silently, that's okay. But when we pray here, we are not praying only for ourselves, but we are praying for the village and the country and the world at large. Tonight, Sukh karta dukh harta mera. Sukh karta dukh harta mera. Aho Prabhu meri aavo. Aavo Prabhu meri aavo. Ganapati Ganesha ko Ganapati Ga. Umapati Mahesha ko. All of you had to say, Baba, we didn't know that chant. Ganapati Ganesha ko Ganapati Ganesha ko Umapati Mahesha ko मेरा ही प्रणाम है मेरा ही प्रणाम है शंकर भोले बाबा को शंकर भोले बाबा को डमरू बजाने वाले को मेरा ही प्रणाम है मेरा ही प्रणाम है They are calling Lord Ganesha. Ganesh Baba listens to their prayer and Lord Ganesha appears there. And as he appears there, the earth begins to shake. The Devatas know that Lord Ganesha is coming. He's Lambodara, he's huge. And when Ganapati Baba is coming, the earth shakes. And so, the Devatas they are looking on. And they see Lord Ganesha appearing there with the elephant trunk. With the 4 arms holding the noose. The Parshur axe. Holding the Ladhu ke bhog. And one of his hands is Abhyam Mudra giving blessing. As he appears there, he appears sitting on Mushak and crouch. And Lord Shri Ganesha, as he appears there, the Devatas surrender to his lotus-like feet. Why is they surrender to his lotus-like feet? They are praying, Lord, please help us. Tonight, we surrender to the feet of Lord Ganesh and we seek his blessings. We seek his intervention in our lives. For wherever Lord Ganesh is, no obstacles are there. Wherever Lord Ganesh is, no hurdles, no trials or tribulations is there, but only success. Tonight, we surrender to the feet of Lord Ganesh. गणपति गणेश को उमापति महेश को मेरा ही प्रणाम है, 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 मेरा। एक बार बोलेगा जानन स्वामी की। Lord Ganesha appears there. The Devatas surrender to his lotus-like feet and they are saying, Lord, we have a problem, an obstacle. His name is Anil Asura. Anil Asura is emanating fire and he's destroying our puja, our vrata. He's disturbing the rishis and the munis. Lord, please help us. Lord Ganesha, he doesn't think twice what he should do. There's one thing that Lord Ganesh does good and does it well. And I does the same thing too. He don't make joke with his. Are you too sure? With his belly. Lord Ganesha says, I will destroy him. And he says, Devatas begin to pray. Why is he telling them to begin to pray? Because whenever the Devatas are praying is when the obstacle is coming. Have you ever noticed? When you begin to pray, obstacles come in your life. Sometimes you are about to sit to perform puja, and maybe mere moments before the puja, something happens, and you get angry. Or you ever notice that? Think about when you have your puja home in the house. Auntie and uncles do something to send up your pressure. Uncle Bill is smiling like you are accustomed. Somebody will say something or do something that will get you angry. But why? That is your obstacle. Bhagwan is testing you to see, would you get angry? You are going to perform your puja, you know? Or would you sit calmly and perform your puja? Obstacles will come. This is why I always tell devotees, either you cook before the puja or you cook after the puja. They say, Baba, what you will eat? I say, there's prasad. The Devta could eat it, I could eat it. Because when the cooking takes place during the puja, you say, bait of a chandan, you hit auntie come, you're very curry. Go down the last door, you will see it in a yellow bucket. And puja going on. We break our concentration. We do not do this. Obstacles will come in your path. When you are performing your devotion, hurdles will come in your path. God is coming to test you. What should you do? Should you give up? Should you run from God or should you run closer to God? Should you run from the mandir or closer to the mandir? To God and in the mandir. When problems come, it means we have to pray a little bit harder. And sometimes you say, but Baba, I pray my whole life, I'm doing vrat, and still problem. Then what is the problem? You have to sit and check and see if you is the problem. What Baba is saying, I am the problem. Sometimes we pray, we do all the devotion, but do we do it from the heart? Do we have faith in our devotion? Baba give you a devotion, say, Baba, we go see what will happen now. You have no faith. Baba tell you tonight, I observe a couple nights I've been inviting everybody to come and offer arti. And nobody moved their foot. Just a couple devotees. I thank God for the devotees who come from my mandir. They come and arti Lord Ganesh. You are given an opportunity to pray. Grasp it. Have faith in God. Night after night I will tell you, come and offer arti and pray for your problems so we can no longer. But we sit there, we stand there, and you know what he's saying? When I leave here, I still have problem. You have no faith, no confidence. I'm sure all of you have faith and confidence in Lord Ganesha, isn't that so? And if you have faith and confidence in God, even the impossible will become possible. We must have faith in God. When hurdles and problems come, never give up. Go straight to God. Have faith in God and say, God, I know that you will remove my obstacle. And everything that happens in life happens for a reason. What we may see as obstacles, use it as stepping stones. Learn the lessons that it brings to you and help you. Allow it to help you on the journey that is called life. The Devatas, he says, pray. Pray, because when you begin to pray, obstacles will come. Anil asura will come. The Devatas sit there and they begin to pray. And whilst they are praying, Anil asura appears. And whilst he is coming, Bhagwan Shri Ganapati looks on the other side. And Lord Ganesha begins to grow. And he begins to take the root of Lambodara. Redhi Siddhi Shri Ganesh Maharaja Mere. Redhi Siddhi Shri Ganesh Maharaja Mere. Parvati Mata, Parvati Mata, Parvati Mata Shiva Bola Baba Sri Gol Se Bete. Parvati Mata Shiva Bola Baba Sri Gol Se Bete. Redhi Siddhi Shri Ganesh Maharaja Mere. Redhi Siddhi Shri Ganesh Maharaja Mere. Parvati Mata Shiva Bola Baba Sri Gol Se Bete. जो मेरी चरना मन चर चरित्रा जो मेरी चरना न चरित चरिता सो प्रथम देवा पूजा करे गणेशा सो प्रथम देवा पूजा करे गणेशा रेडी सिद्धि श्री गणेश महाराजा मेरे रेडी सिद्धि श्री गणेश महाराजा मेरे पार्वती माता शिवा बोला बाबा श्री गोल से बैठे पार्वती माता शिवा बोला बाबा श्री गोल से बैठे. Lord Ganesh, he grows, and as he grows huge, he calls Anil asura. Anil asura, he looks at Lord Ganesh and he says, what could you do? You are so bada, you are so big, you could hardly even run. How much time will this judge you book by it? Oh, you never hear that one on this side? Never judge you book by it? Cover. He looks at Lord Ganesha and he says, you are so huge, what could you do? Could you battle with me? One kick and you rolling down the road. Jai Bhagwan. You know, one time somebody tried to battle with me. And when I won't tell you what happened to the person, I didn't move one finger. My dear friends, whether it's a spiritual battle, whether you are sending, you know, we love to send Marakali for people, whether you are sending the devatas or whether you are what you are doing, never judge a book by its cover. Because what goes around comes around. Lord Ganesha, he stands there. Bada, as big as he is, and he says, don't worry, you come, awo. And Anil asura is running in. But he's so blinded by his ego, he doesn't know what he's running into. How many of us in today's world we are blinded by ego, by pride, that we do not see what we are getting ourselves into. But when we are already in it, we want to know how we could come out of it. But every action and every decision, there are consequences. Another Asura has performed action. He has made certain decisions, and now he has to pay the consequences. And so, as he runs to Lord Ganesha opens his mouth. And what takes place? The katha tells us. Jana Ganapati Deva Anadi Deva. Jana Ganapati Deva Anadi Deva. Buri Hari Hara Ishvara Vani Ganesha. Buri Hari Hara Aranishvara Vani Ganesha. Redhi Sedi Shri Ganesh Maharaja Mere. Redhi Sedi Shri Ganesh Maharaja Mere. Parvati Mata Shiva Bola Baba Sri Gol Se Bete. Parvati Mata Shiva Bola Baba Sri Gol Se Bete. Parvati Mata Shiva Bola Baba. Ek baar bole ke Chanand Swami ki. Lord Ganesha opens his mouth and Anil Asura runs straight inside. Lord Ganesha closes his mouth and Anil Asura is within his stomach. He wants to come out. When blindly, with pride and ego, we run into a situation, what we just try to do? We try to come out. But we can't. He doesn't know how to come out. He begins to emanate fire into the stomach of Lord Ganesh. And while he's emanating the fire, the Devatas are praising Lord Ganesh. Oh Ganapati, because of you, Anil Asura is no longer. But Lord Ganesh sits there and fire is emanating in his belly. He doesn't know what to tell the Devatas. Anybody here ever eat 7-pot pepper? Anybody here ever eat scorpion pepper? Oh, it is only pimento. I know Auntie Shamla do eat pimento because she cooked some night and didn't have just pimento. When you eat pepper, what has happened? You begin to sweat. If you make soup and you make a nice little pepper to go with it and you put 7-pot in it, what has happened? You begin to sweat. Well, not for me, but for the people who are fair, you begin to turn red. Lord Ganesha begins to turn red and he's sweating. And why is he sweating? He doesn't know what to do. The Devatas, they are unaware, they don't know what to do. He begins to jump. Pepper ever burn anybody here? You don't know if to jump, if to run, if to lie down, or if to roll. He's jumping. The Devatas, they bring doodh, milk. They begin to offer the milk upon Lord Ganesha, it doesn't help. They bring the dahi, they begin to offer it, it doesn't help. They bring cane juice, honey, ghee, nothing is helping. There lives a Muni who's looking at everything, Agastya Muni. And Agastya Muni remembers the words of Parvati Mata, that Durva will come to rescue Lord Ganesh. Agastya Muni goes and he gathers the Durva grass. How do we gather the Durva grass of puja? Anybody know? We see the patch of the Durva grass and we go and la baser, we hook all and we pull it out. Dry one, good one, bull grass, any kind of grass. Once it had 2-3 Durva grass inside it. And we just do that? Baba, you ever see that? Plenty time. Remember, it's an offering to God. When we are preparing the Durva grass, well, I don't prepare it anymore. My devotees from the mandir does it. But they know better than not to bring dry grass. Uncle Sam, we take the scissors and cut each grass. It's an offering. It must be done beautifully. And while he gathers the Durva grass, he goes there and he holds the Durva grass. He begins to pray. Om एकरन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा. He places the durva grass on the head of Lord Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha Swaha. Om Ekarantaya Namaha Swaha. Om Lambhodaya Namaha Swaha. He places durva grass and mantras upon the head of Lord Ganesha. Lord Ganesha begins to attain back his normal color. He stops sweating. Why? The durva has come to rescue him. Agastya Muni has covered the head of Lord Ganesha with durva grass. And Lord Ganesha was so happy. And Lord Sri Ganesha, he looks at Agastya Muni and the devatas gathered there. And he tells to them something beautifully. As we terminate our katha, what does Lord Ganesha says? We listen to the medium of katha. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. जो मेरे चरना मन धारी, जो मेरे चरना मन धारी, दुर्वा पूजा करी हो, दुर्वा पूजा करी हो. जय गणेशा. यहाँ सुनो देवा जय जया, यहाँ सुनो देवा जय जया. गणपति पूजन दुर्वा हो, गणपति पूजन दुर्वा. जय गणेशा, जय गणेशा, जय गणेशा देवा. जय गणेशा, जय गणेशा, जय गणेशा देव. ओ जय गणेशा, जय गणेशा, जय गणेशा. बोले गणेश स्वामी की. He says to the devatas, if you want victory just as the durva has brought victory to me today, you offer the durva grass unto me. If you want your obstacles, your hurdles, trials, tribulations to be no longer, offer durva grass to me. For those who may possess anger, when pepper is burning you, you just be cool and calm. If pepper burning you, Uncle Daniram, when you eat the big bull pepper from the back by you, and pepper burning you, Auntie Maya come and tell you something, you say she go back inside, eh? You become angry. Try it. Anybody want to try it tomorrow? I sure Baba maybe have pepper plant home. I'll make him bring a few. He says anyone that possesses anger, and you take that person's name, or that person takes the durva grass and offers it upon the head of Lord Ganesha, your anger is gone. Those who may have sickness, whatever illness, you take the durva grass and you armchair that person and place it on the head of Lord Ganesha. Your problems are no longer. Wherever the durva grass is placed on the body of Lord Ganesha, my dear friends, He's pleased. This is why sometimes you see images and pictures of Lord Ganesha covered with durva grass. This is why we will make the beautiful mala of the durva grass and we will offer it. It removes our problems, our hurdles. And what creates problems in our lives? Even anger creates problems. Isn't that so? Because when we are angry, we may say things we don't mean. We may do things that we don't mean. So, by offering the durva grass, these things are no longer. The durva grass, my dear friends, is offered in every puja. And it sends a powerful message. What is that message? The longer durva grass grows, it grows lower to the Anybody here first to begin ever see how dub grasses grow? Or it is buy it in the puja store? Or the now just bring it? The longer dub grass grows, it goes lower to the ground. Dub grass don't grow like bull grass, so don't bring no long dub grass. So you must be putting salt and thing in that. The longer dub grass grows, it goes lower to the ground. It reminds us on this journey of life. The longer we journey in this life, the higher we climb the ladder of success, we must remember to always be humble to the lotus-like feet of Dharti Ma. Many times when we climb the ladder of success, we forget the bridge that we have crossed. Never dam the bridge that you have crossed. Always remain humble and polite. This is the message that the durva grass sends to us. When we offer the durva grass, place love into it and offer it upon the head of Lord Ganesha and receive his blessings and his darshan. I'm sure you would have seen murtis of Lord Ganesha with red in color or orange in color. This is the very form. And this is the form where you place the durva grass upon its head. And this is the form of Lord Ganesha that is called Dhumraketu. And this form of Lord Ganesha is placed in your business place. And it's a particular puja that is done. And I would not give out too much information. You would check me and I would tell you. Lord Ganesha is very powerful. Worship your Lord Ganesha and receive his darshan. Tonight we all are given the opportunity to worship Lord Ganesha and to surrender to his lotus-like feet. As customary, night after night we offer 100 laddu and 100 oblations into the holy and sacred fire. Before we join that offering this evening, whilst Katha has taught us so many beautiful lessons for life, this evening, let us try to take at least one of those lessons and try to practice it. Let us try to take at least one of those lessons and try to apply it to our lives and allow it to help us to become better human beings. We are here upon this earth on the journey that is called life, and we all will make mistakes from time to time. We all are faced with hurdles and trials and tribulations. How do we remove these things? Through the medium of surrendering to the feet of Bhagwan. Ek baar bure Sri Gajanan Swami ki, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. My dear friends, devotees and bhaktas, this evening my wonderful Bhaiya Pundit Dharan is joining with us, and I invite him to lead us in a beautiful bhajan whilst we make preparations to join in offerings to Lord Ganesha. Today is Tuesday, a day specially dedicated to Hanumanji, and I invite him to lead us in a beautiful Hanumanji bhajan at this time.
लाल देह लालील से अरुधरि लालन वज्र देह दानव दलन जय 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 कपिसो हनुमाना अति बलवाना राम राम सिया रे हे प्रभु मन बसिया रे राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो जान की जय बोलो हनुमान की, राम लक्ष्मण जान के जय बोलो हनुमान की। बजरंग बली ओ बजरंग बली, बजरंग बली, बजरंग बली, महावीर बली, महावीर बली, महावीर बली, महावीर बली। भजलो जय हनुमान, 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 भजलो जय हनुमान।
बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. Invite you all to please sit upright. Let us show our palms together as we surrender to the feet of Lord Shri Ganesh. Whilst oblations and offerings are being made to Ganapati Baba in your minds, through Mansik worship, let us take the opportunity to offer the modak, the laddu, to the feet of Lord Ganesh. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurme Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Pandit Narayan will lead us in the chanting of the Bege mantra.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Swaha. 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 Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha स्वाहा ॐ गं गणपतये नमः 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 स्वाहा
ॐ एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात् ॐ गं गणपतये नमः स्वाहा. Three final offerings into the fire. ॐ सर्वेभ्यो देवीभ्यो नमः स्वाहा सर्वेभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः स्वाहा सर्वेभ्यो ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमः स्वाहा. Crouch, please stand for the Purnamahuti. ॐ पूर्णमिधा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णगुं शान्ति स्वाहा. आचमन. ॐ सर्वपापरं दिव्यं Gangayam nirmalam sharam Achmanyam mayaratam Grihanam Parameshwara. We find the fire. Bharaspati Rasura Bhutoyo Gandyutama Agrahan Sarvadevanam Dhupoyam Pratigrahitam. The Sotic blessing. Om Bhutbhuvasvat Tat Saviturvarenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodyatam. We make the offering of the coconut at this point. Gam 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 ganapati 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 Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirviganam Guru Mereva Sarvakarishu Sarva Ubolu Gam 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 Gam. Bole Gajanan Swami ki Gam 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 ganapati gam 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 ganapati Om Gajananam Bhuta Ganari Sevidam Kapita Chambupala Saravakshitam Umasutam Shuka Vinashakarakam Namami Viganeshwar Parapankajam Gam 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 ganapati. एक बार बोले गणेश भगवान की Ganapataye namo namah Sri Siddhi Vinayaka Ashtavinayaka namo namah Ganapati Bappa Om Gam Ganapataye namo namah Sri Siddhi Vinayaka namo namah Ashtavinayaka namo namah Ganapati Bappa Moria. My dear friends, devotees and bhaktas, those who wish to come forward and offer your arti, receive the blessing of Lord Ganesha, you can do so. Those who may have brought offerings at this time, you can bring your offerings. And of course, Pundit Ji would assist you in making these oblations. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah Ganapati Bappa Moria. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah Bol Ganapati Bappa Moria. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah Bol Ganapati Bappa Moria. सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरिया। ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः ओ गणपति बाबा मोरिया। ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः ओ गणपति बाबा मोरिया। मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया मोरिया गणपति बाबा मोरिया 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 गणपति बाबा मोरिया मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे। ओम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः ओ गणपति बाबा मोरिया। ओम गजाननं भूतगणाधिसेवितं कबीजम्बो फलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पारपङ्कजम्। ओम गं गणपते नमः। ओम गं गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः ओ गणपति बाबा मोरिया। ओम गं गणपतये नमो नमः सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गुरु गणपति बाबा मोरिया। ओम गं गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः बोलो गणपति बाबा मोरिया। मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे ओ बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे। गणपति बाबा आओ चले बाबा आओ चले गणपति बाबा आओ चले ओ बाबा आओ चले मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे। गणपति बाबा मंगल मूर्ति गणपति बाबा मंगल मूर्ति बाबा बाबा मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे ओ बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे। गं गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः ओ गणपति बाबा मोरिया। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम गं गणपते नमः। ओम श्री सिद्धि विनायकाय नमः। ओम लंबोदराय नमो नमः। मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे 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 मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे। गणपति बाबा आओ चले बाबा आओ चले गणपति बाबा आओ चले बाबा आओ चले मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया मोरिया गणपति बाबा मोरिया 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 गणपति बाबा मोरिया मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः ओ गणपति बाबा मोरिया ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः बोलो गणपति बाबा मोरिया ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरिया मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया मोरिया गणपति बाबा मोरिया 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 गणपति बाबा मोरिया मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया गणपति बाबा मोरिया मंगल मूर्ति मोरिया गणपति बाबा मोरिया मंगल मूर्ति गणपति बाबा मंगल मूर्ति. Just now we go get Bhajan, or you don't worry. You can put all your energy now. Ganapati Baba, Mangalamurti, Gajanan Swami ki. Moria de Baba Moria de Moria de Baba Moria de Moria Moria Ganapati Baba Moria 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 Ganapati Baba Moria Moria de Baba Moria de Moria de Baba Moria de Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah Ganapati Bappa Moria Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah Ganapati Bappa Moria. गणेश भगवान की गजानन स्वामी की ओम एकदंताय विद्महे वक्रतुंडाय धीमहि तन्नो धन्ति प्रचोदयात्. ओम गम गणपते नमः. मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे 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 मोरिया रे बाबा मोरिया रे. ओम मंत्रहीनम क्रियाहीनम भक्तिहीनम जरार्दनम यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तरस्रमे काहेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियवा पूज्यात्मना वा प्रकृतिं सुभौतं करोमि यज्ञ सकलं परस्मै नारायणायति समर. Together with love. त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव जसका त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव. हरि ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. Put hands clasped together. Turn to the person next to you and say, Jai Ganesh. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Gananatha. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Gananatha. Lambodar he Vigna Harta, Lambodar he Vigna Harta. Deva ho Deva, Deva ho Deva, Deva ho Deva, Ganapati Devo. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Gananatha. We all clap, we glorify, we sing Jai Ganesha, victory to Lord Ganesha. Gajanan Swami ki, Ganesh Bhagwan ki. Gauri Putra Vigana Harta, Gauri Putra Vigana Harta, Deva ho Deva, Deva ho Deva, Deva ho Deva, Ganapati Devo, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Gananatha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Gananatha. एक बार बोले गणेश भगवान की, गणपति बाबा मंगल मूर्ति सत्य सनातन धर्म की. You may have a respectful seat, sir. Arti Prasad Panchamat will come your way. Bhajan is prepared for each and every one of you to please, of course, partake. Please grasp the opportunity to continue the Arti and receive the blessings of Bhagwan Shri Ganapati. Here's an invitation to join with us tomorrow evening for yet another most beautiful katha taken from the Ganesh Puran. This evening, let me of course say a special thank you to Pandit Madan, to Pandit Haran joining with us this evening, to of course all the other Pandits and the members of the group, to Bhai Kishanji and Media Concept 29, Bhagwan Ganapati Baba, blessings to you. To all you wonderful bhaktas and devotees joining with us this evening, may Lord Ganesha richly bless each and every one of you. And also this evening, let me take the opportunity to acknowledge the Murtiman, Uncle Dhani Ram, joining with us this evening in devotion. Lord Ganesha, blessings to you. Of course, he's the person who have created a beautiful image of Lord Shri Ganesh. May Ganapati Baba richly bless you, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. Jai Sitaram. My dear friends and devotees, he has an